Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to finally start having some fun with this box. It is time to start assembling and painting this miniature, so today we're going to start with the Sanguinary Guard. So in this video we're going to check the instructions, we're going to check the plastic, and after that we're going to assemble the Sanguinary Guard and we're going to review those miniatures. Okay, so here we have the instructions for the Sanguinary Guard, and sorry because they are the ones for the combat patrol, but still it's exactly the same instructions because we assemble the miniatures in the same way. It's just that here they are showing us the recommendation for how to assemble these miniatures for combat patrol games. But as I said, it doesn't matter because instructions are the same. The first thing that we can see here are the jump packs, and the good thing is that they are not assigned to a single miniature. So for example, we have two like this and one like this, and we can decide which miniature is going to wear each one of these jump packs. I mean, they are super similar, but it's something, it's a choice that we can make. Then we can see the first miniature of this unit, and it's exactly the same as for the rest of the Space Marines. As you can see, we're going to assemble the body, not a single choice here. This is what it is. We assemble the body like this, and after that we have total freedom to choose the arms and the head for the body. Of course, as always, they suggest things to us, like, okay, for this specific body, they are telling us to use this specific arm with the Inferno pistol or this arm. But of course, as you can see, the connection is flat, so basically we can change the arms, and as long as we like the pose and it feels natural to us, we can change that for all the miniatures. After the ranged weapon, now we have 4 different head options for this miniature, but it's the same, like every head is going to fit in everybody, so that's great, of course, as always. And then we can start seeing the close combat weapons. For this specific body, they are suggesting us 3 of them. First, we have this one that we have the arm attached to the hand already, so we cannot change that and it will be a pose like this. Or we can go for something like this. We have this arm and we just need to glue the hand, so we can decide if to have a sword or a spear, which I think that it's very interesting. We just add the shoulder pads, the jump pack, and then we have a finished Sanguinary Guard. Here we have the second member of the unit, and as we established previously, it is what it is. We assemble the body, there's not a single choice here. This is the body of this miniature, and after that we can choose the arms and the head that we like. But for this specific body, they are saying to us, okay, now with this miniature you're going to use this arm and you're going to use this arm. But as I mentioned previously, the connection is flat, so for sure we can change the arms that we want for each miniature. And I do think that, for example, these 2 arms should look nice in this specific body, and that's why I'm looking forward right now to assemble these miniatures in a moment, because like that I will be able to check how easy it will be to use different arms than the ones that they are saying in the instructions. Okay, and here things start to look very interesting, because for this specific arm we can choose 3 different weapons. I mean, these 2 are spears, but of course here we have the banner and here not. And for me it's a shame that we have to choose between the banner and this super cool pose that he's like throwing the spear. I like this pose a lot. I think that it looks really cool. So for me it's super sad that we have to choose between this and this. And let's go with the last member of the unit. Again, we assemble the body, not a single choice here. They're giving us the least amount of choices, but after that we should have like 3 beautiful Sanguinary Guards assembled. So now let's check the plastic. Okay, so here we have 3 sprues that will allow us to build 3 Sanguinary Guards. Let's start checking this one, and as you can see here, these miniatures are very recent at the moment of making this video. Basically here we have the last miniature that we saw in the instructions, like the full miniature is here. We have the base, we have the beautiful sculpted body. I like a lot the bodies of the Sanguinary Guard. It looks very elegant. And I have to say that I also like a lot the design of the swords. It looks very beautiful. And of course we have very nice spears as well. We have the choice of 2 different heads that we can see here without helmet, and then we have with helmet here. But yes, this is quite simple and straightforward. This is the last miniature that we saw in the instructions. And here we have the other 2 members of the unit. I would like to say that I always thought that this banner was much smaller, but for example now if I compare it with the body of this Sanguinary Guard, I have to say that it feels bigger than I expected. These are the sprues, and we have a total of 8 different heads for 3 miniatures. Then we also have 4 different swords, and we have 3 spears plus 1 spear with the banner as well. Anyway, now is when the fun begins. Let's start assembling these miniatures. Here you can see the first Sanguinary Guard that we saw in the instructions with the weapons of the third one that we saw in the instructions, and as you can see, it can work if we change the arms and we don't follow his instructions. But of course the main issue with these dynamic poses is that the position of the arms is going to make the pose looks natural or unnatural, and in this specific case, for example, with that spear, I think that it looks a little bit weird. If someone wants to have a big unit of 6, it's perfect, but for me the most important part here was to confirm that if, for example, someone would like to have 3 units of Sanguinary Guards with 3 Sanguinary Guards each, it will be possible to achieve that without having duplicates. The main issue will be with the one with the banner, because there's only one position for the banner, but I think that it should be okay and it should look nice, because for me it's sad when there's duplicates. Anyway, let's continue assembling this miniature. I have to say that I like it much more than I expected. I like the new Sanguinary Guard so far, but I have a small issue. Here we have a Blood Angel Eradicator, and I do think that the Sanguinary Guard would look much nicer if it was like standing a little bit more. That's why I'm going to add a little bit more of extra sprue between the Sanguinary Guard and the base. And this is it, this is the final result. Here we have a fully assembled Sanguinary Guard, so let's take a closer look at each model individually. And as you were able to see, for this specific unit I just followed the instructions. I assembled 3 of them with the spears, and the only change that I made is in the base. Because as I showed you previously, I felt like they were too close to the ground, and with the specific poses that they have, that they are like kinda flying, I thought that they will benefit a lot from standing higher from the ground. And as you can see, I just glue sprue to the base, and I made some structure there, and I just filled the gaps. And hopefully this is going to look nicer once I apply the technical paints and I make the base properly. So I do think that they look much better like this, like standing higher. I showed this Eradicator previously, and the same. If we put them base to base, now it feels like this one is much higher, it pops out much more, and this is my main goal. I really wanted my Sanguinary Guard to look like they are flying over my army. Here we have the one carrying the banner, and it's the same. You can clearly see where the base used to start, and now it's a little bit higher, and I think that the miniature benefits a lot from that. And with this specific miniature, I have to say that at first I was super worried about the banner, because of course the banner of the previous Sanguinary Guard was like magnificent and huge, and this one was like much smaller. But no, actually it's quite big, it feels good, and I like it because of course it's like on a spear, so it feels like this is how it should be. I'm very happy about this miniature, and I think that I like a lot how this specific one looks. And here we have the one with the Inferno pistol, and this is the one that they gave the most to the base, because you can clearly see where the base used to start. As I mentioned, I think that it looks much nicer like this. I wanted them to be like in different heights, so like that is a little bit more dynamic. So for example, if we put them next to each other, we can see that they are not in the same level. I think that like that it looks a little bit nicer. To this one and the previous one, I decided to add also some battlefield rocks from the army painter, like I usually do for some of my miniatures, because of course I had like a lot of space to cover here. And yes, I feel like this is going to be much nicer in the future when I apply the technical paint, and it should look much more natural. And I have to say now that honestly, I like these miniatures much more than I expected. Because, I mean, when they were announced, it was very sad, because first the unit went from 5 to only 3, and then they lost the wings, so basically one of their most iconic details or elements of the Sanguinary Guard, so it was very sad. But after assembling these miniatures and seeing them next to each other, I can say that I like them a lot. Like really, if I judge these miniatures just by themselves, I'm very happy with the design. My only issue with the new Sanguinary Guard is that maybe there could be a little bit more options for customization, because, for example, I have an extra unit of Sanguinary Guard from the combat patrol, and yes, during the assembling we were able to check that yes, we can change the arms between the different bodies. But of course, as we established, they have like very dynamic poses, and because of that we really need to choose wisely the arms that we're going to give them, because they are like moving. So if we give them some arm that is not going to fit into the pose, then it's not going to look good, and I'm a little bit worried about that. And as you can see here, even if I try to cover them with some ultramarines, they are like popping out, they feel like they are flying over the army. I'm very happy about that, and I'm happy with these miniatures. And with all of that being said, this is the end of the video. This is my Sanguinary Guard. It was super nice to share the experience of assembling these miniatures with all of you. And of course, soon I will share how I'm going to paint these miniatures. And as always, I invite you to let me know in the comments what you think about the new Sanguinary Guard. And with all of that being said, this is the end of the video. This is my Sanguinary Guard. I hope that you enjoyed the process. And of course, as always, if you are still here, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.